Welcome back to Gulfstream Park. We're here for Saturday's Clasico del Caribe and surrounding races. It's the first time this traditional Latin American event has been held in the United States, so we're really excited. And Ray, today we're going to talk about some of the culture around this event. It's unlike probably any horse racing event in the United States because of certain traditions, rivalries. It's going to be different here on Saturday.
Yeah, you said we're excited. Well, they have a different meaning of excited when you're talking about racing in Latin America. When you see a horse win a race, what goes on in the winner's circle, on the racetrack, in the grandstand, is a celebration. And it's not like anything I've ever seen.
In fact, several times this week, when people talk about the event, they always say coming up to the celebration. That's what they call it. Yeah. We talked with Joe Bruno, who is from Puerto Rico. He's a commentator and a journalist, so he has a good perspective on this.
He's called the Clasico on ESPN for 10 years in English.
In English,
yeah. Right.
So yeah, he's pretty impressive.
Back when ESPN actually did horse racing.
Right. So we asked him about this, and here's what he said about the celebration.
When a horse wins the Kentucky Derby, you see people celebrating, but in very low pace, I think. In Latin America, we celebrate more with spices, something, you know. We like it.
and so many people in the winner's circle. Sometimes you don't even see the horse in the winner's circle.
Yeah,
There's so many people.
Yeah. In a winner's circle photo, the horse doesn't appear. It's people celebrating, and that's the way that we do it.
Well, I think one of the reasons that maybe the celebrations are so enthusiastic, so emotional, is that people in these countries, many of these countries, are going through hard times. They have been. Look at Puerto Rico, the recovery from the devastating hurricane. Venezuela right now has tremendous political and economic upheaval. So a day at the races is meant to be a release to go out and have some fun.
That's right. We've seen sports as a healing factor when tragedy strikes in our country. It's the same for these countries. But let's not forget that they are competing against each other, and they love that, and there are rivalries. Right. We bought these shirts at the local tack shop here at Gulfstream Park, where Gonzalo Anteliz Jr. works. We call him Chino.
Everybody calls him Chino.
Chino has some perspective on this rivalry thing.
Puerto Rico versus Dominican, Venezuelan versus Panama, Mexico versus everybody is a huge rival. Trust me, is the crowd enjoy in the grandstand the different music, the different thoughts about the race. It's beautiful.
One thing we've been assured of that on Saturday it's going to be loud here at Gulfstream Park. Lots of noisemakers and music. It's going to be fun. If there's any precedent for something like this in the U.S. in the racing business, it's probably Canonero in 1971.
That's right. He came up from Venezuela. He won the Kentucky Derby in Preakness. 83,000 people showed up at Belmont Park for a celebration of his Triple Crown. Alas, he didn't win, but what a day that was. That record stood for many years.
Yep. Planefuls of people came from Venezuela for that event. So we're looking forward to this. One other thing about the culture around this is there are some superstitions. We've noticed horses wearing red bands around their necks, and we asked about this. It's kind of hard to explain, but the term they used is the grooms do this. They don't want to have a horse with a bad eye. So whatever that means.
Yeah.
The old evil eye.
It's a belief the grooms have. It's a little bit of superstition maybe, but we saw a lot of red bands on horses' necks.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the News Minute. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.